Hey guys, I'm Jackson Cobalt, and welcome back to the Roguelike Tier List, my Roguelike Tier List. And today I have a few adjustments to make, like 14 or 15, something like that. Okay, so why am I making this video? I changed a few things about the previous tier list, just a few things here and there. And I've played a lot more roguelike games, and I've missed a few that I had previously played, but for some reason just weren't in the tier list. I must have missed them, or forgot about them. Okay, so that being said, um, let's get into the changes. So, I made this tier list about, 4 months ago? So first off, Roguebook. This is an adjustment. I had not played Roguebook all that much. I had played it for 2.9 hours. I have currently played Roguebook for 11 hours. And as such, Roguebook is a it's a good card game. It's legitimately a good card game. I think it'll slot right there above Slay the Spire. While I don't much care for the mechanics about traversing the landscape, I do really like how the deck building works, where you have the two characters and they play off of each other, and you have to make sure you have equal numbers of both of the cards in the deck because you don't get like cards from each character. It also has cool switching mechanics. Every character plays in a unique playstyle, but uses the same fundamental mechanics, which is a very interesting way of doing things. It is solidly up there. It is really, really, really good. And this will appease the one person who was in the previous video left a comment talking about how I was sleeping on Roguebook. This is the redemption. Roguebook's actually goated. I remember it not being as fun, but coming back to it and actually playing the game past the tutorial sections and whatever, the game's not that long as I was thinking it might have been, but yeah. Okay. Next up, games that I had played that somehow slipped through. Bioprototype. I played 7.7 hours of Bioprototype like 2 months before making the video. I have no excuse. Bioprototype's pretty solid. It's right there. Bioprototype, it's a fun game. I really like how the game uses the survival style of Vampire Survivors and Magical Survival, but instead of just constantly getting better, you basically have to program in your own custom attack and attack upgrades, which is very, very fun. I highly recommend Bioprototype if you enjoy Vampire Survivors and enjoy a little bit of programming. Then I also had played King God Castle. Well, King God Castle is a mobile game that is not a roguelike. It has a roguelike mode. It's kind of a roguelike normally, but its roguelike mode is the true essence of the game. The normal game is more of a roguelite, slightly, but there is a specific roguelike mode that is hard roguelike and is one of the most fun side modes I've ever played in a mobile game. It's like half my playtime in King God Castle was spent on that mode, and the other modes just kind of weren't as good. That being said, I do not think it's better than Luck Be a Landlord. Luck Be a Landlord is a very, very good game. But it is still very fun. Well, next up, a game that I had forgotten about until recently, but is a very cool roguelike, we have Dungeon Cards. Dungeon Cards is a game I've played so much. So much. I've played it, I don't know, when did I start playing it? Like, it must have been like 6 years ago. Or, if that's impossible, basically right as it came out. It is a very fun and addictive mobile roguelike with no ads. Unless you watch an ad to double your money, which is a button you can choose just not to press. It's very tactical. You have grid-based movement. It's about pattern recognition, subverting RNG, and just generally playing better. as you get through. It's all right. I've played it a lot, and I would say it's pretty good to learn how to play, but like it does feel often like randomness is a real run killer, which is why I'm going to put it below Realm of the Mad God. Okay. Okay, so those are all the games that I had previously played in some way before um before the last video. Okay, so now games that I've played since the last video, going in chronological order of when I played them. Atomic Crops. I played Atomic Crops basically right after I released the video, or like a couple days after. It's pretty good. I do like Atomic Crops. I have a slight optimization issue that causes my game to run at inconsistent frame rates, despite the fact that I have a 3070 and 48 gigabytes of RAM. And my CPU is what is it? Intel Core i7. Like, my computer is a good computer, and the game doesn't look like it should be very graphically intensive, but my computer just has struggles handling it. I really enjoy it, because it's a farming game like Stardew Valley, but it's always on a time limit, and it's got boss fights, and it's just really, really fun. I think it's not as polished as these games. It's not as polished as some of the games like below it or whatever, but it's definitely earns its spot right around here. In A tier. Next, we have Risk of Rain 2. I played Risk of Rain 2. I beat one run. I played as like, I don't know, 5, 6 different characters, and none of them were fun. Not one. Not one moment of my gameplay experience in Risk of Rain 2 would I consider to be a fun moment. Not one. I don't like the infinite enemies because it goes against my roguelike playstyle of kill all the enemies. I don't like the ever-encroaching time limit. I don't like the scale or be scaled aspect of the game, as I think that you should just be able to play at, your own pace. Even an action roguelike should be able to have some downtime moments. And I don't like the map design. The boss design is okay, however, you only battle like the same handful of bosses up until the final boss, which is just literally Hades from Hades, just in 3D. And the fact that it is a first-person shooter just doesn't, or third-person shooter, whatever it was, just doesn't do it for me. I'm not a shooter game person, and I just personally don't like the play style of it. And I got like I asked people in the forum page, what's the point of this game? Or what do I want to do? I've seen people have fun in the game and I've watched videos of it, but like, what's the play style? And legitimately, a lot of the people were like, oh, just play this character that you haven't unlocked yet, and just AFK for 6 hours, and then come back and suddenly you're a god. And I'm like, that doesn't sound fun. What part of that is fun? What? No! And they're like, oh yeah, the first few characters are boring, but I played with like as many characters as I unlocked, and none of them were fun. So I don't understand. It's also just not very difficult. Like, it's kind of like the difficult part about the game is finding the portal. Nothing else in the game is difficult. Okay, then I played 60 hours of Monster Train 2 in like 2 weeks. It is the best roguelike I've ever played. In fact, best roguelike tier, Monster Train 2. Monster Train 2 is the best roguelike I've ever played. It does everything right for Monster Train 1 with double the amount of factions, extra cards for every faction, so much new content. The new systems are all really, really fun. it scales a lot faster, it feels a lot better, it's more polished, and it is a slam dunk. The difficulty system only requires 10 wins to get to max difficulty instead of 25, so it's not as much of a grind, while also giving a solid amount of challenge. Now there are pros and cons between the two games, but I personally believe Monster Train 2 is just a better game. It took me like multiple years to put 55 hours into Monster Train 1. It took me 2 weeks to put 60 hours in Monster Train 2. That's all I need to say about that. That's all I should need to say about that. Monster Train 2 is phenomenal. If you could only pick one roguelike to play for the rest of your life, it should be Monster Train 2. It's the go. Okay. And then next one I played in chronological order is My Card is Better Than Your Card, which is a game I played basically as soon as it came out, and it stopped my steamroll of just playing Monster Train 2 forever and ever and ever and always. My Card is Better Than Your Card. I haven't played the most recent update of the game, but I still hear that it's not quite fixed. There's some significant balance issues, but the game as overall is pretty fun. I think the final boss is bullshit, and basically the final boss of the game is at the difficulty of Slay the Spire's Heart, and you have to beat it to win a run, a week 3 run. I also don't like that each week you have to play through all the other weeks, and then at the end you only get to win if you win the final week, and there's some achievements that you can get a lot easier if you just start up a new save file. But I like My Card is Better Than Your Card. It has a cute aesthetic, cool gameplay. I like the different card types. However, Dinosaur Deck is literally unplayable. There is 2 starting decks that are basically literally unplayable. And that's that. Actually, I don't know if it's gonna go there. It might. It's a good deck builder. It's got really good card fusion mechanics. And the point system is pretty fun. However, unforgiving, but it's also very steamrolly, it's very steamrolly, which makes it not only unforgiving, but also it's way too forgiving if you get an early lead and your opponent doesn't have anything to slow you down. So I like it. It goes right here in the deck builder area here. Next game I played was Super Tax City. Super Tax City's all right. It's all right. It runs into a lot of the same issues as Neon Garden, which is another city building roguelike. And it's that a lot of the faction play styles just don't feel fully fleshed out. Some of them are really overly dominating. And while it's trying to be like Be a Landlord, it runs into the fact that it's almost too skill reliant. And by that I mean if you know what you're doing, you shouldn't lose, which is that doesn't sound like a bad thing, but in a roguelike game you should always be there should always be the question the game is trying to pose to you as to how you're going to win. And this game just doesn't do that because you already know how you're going to win within the first couple minutes. I've won this game, I've won 6 or 7 runs of this game, and I only have a 3.5 hour playtime on it. It's not I don't know. It's I feel like it could do better. Yeah, that feels about right. Neon Garden actually is a lot more fun than this game. Then I played Legend of Keepers. Legend of Keepers. It's legitimately a pretty fun game. I wouldn't say it's all that great, and it's very long for a roguelike. But it's longer than most FTL runs. But I do like the different mechanics of the game, and I like the aesthetic of the game. I played it for 12 hours and I don't really have much more to say about it than that, so it's gonna go right above Children of Morta. Then I played Aethermancer. Technically, I played Aethermancer earlier, but I wasn't going to count all of the time I spent in the pre-alpha, closed alpha release. This is the early access release of Aethermancer, which is a game that I purchased in like an hour of it being public. And then I made a video of me playing it for the first time since beta, and then I played a couple more runs after that. I gotta say, it didn't really change much since the private alpha thing, and it kind of pains me to say it, but it's not all that good of a game. Like, the tier 3 is really, really difficult. Act 3 is really, really difficult, and I don't like the implication that it expects you to level up everything and use all of the in-between run mechanics. Um, but also I just generally find that the leveling system's a bit skewed, and the amount of battles you have to do is really wonky. And the level cap itself is also pretty wonky. Um, you're not able to just keep on going stronger at usually even before you hit Act 3. You hit the monster's level cap, and then after the level cap, you get minor adjustments to your monster, but nothing crazy. Which means that you can't scale. It's not a very scaly game, which is fine. But I think there's it definitely can. It's going to be better. And I'm probably the next time I update this tier list, it's probably going to jump up a bit when new updates come out. But right now, it's sitting around like the Lost Castle SNKRX thing, and I love these developers. I adore Monster Sanctuary. Monster Sanctuary is my favorite video game of all time. My favorite video game of all time list is probably Monster Sanctuary, Monster Train 2, Terraria, uh, Fire Emblem for the GBA. I don't even know what the fifth one is. Probably one of the Pokemon games, but I can't just say Pokemon, can I? Okay. Then I played Inkbound for 7.4 hours. Inkbound is the third game, well, is the middle child between Monster Train and Monster Train 2 by the developers. It is an online roguelike that is hard roguelike. No light, no meta progression. This game is a pure one, and it's pretty fun. The mechanics are pretty cool. I really like the trinket system where it uses auto battler mechanics in a turn-based setting, and it works. Like the auto battler mechanics of having multiple trinkets. Trinkets all have different aspects, and as you get more of the trinkets, you level up the different aspects. However, you can only hold 6 trinkets, and most aspects go to 8. How do you do this? You sacrifice trinkets to get permanent copies of their aspect to your aspect pool. I really like this. Because in order to get really strong synergies, you have to sacrifice some of the pieces to those synergies to make the synergies stronger, and hopefully refine and replace your synergies as the game goes on, while permanently getting stronger. For that run. It also has good run length and good boss fights. It's A tier. The guys that make these, Shiny Shoe, best roguelike devs I've ever. Best, their game devs have the highest track record. The only issues with Inkbound would be S tier if it got the final updates it desperately needed. It was more popular of a game, so you could actually play the online mode regularly. And maybe it got the DLC treatment, but all in all, it didn't make Shiny Shoe money, and so they couldn't keep developing it, which is why they had to pivot to Monster Train 2. And it's kind of sad, because Inkbound's pretty fun. Then I started playing Starvaders. Starvaders, this is outdated. I already have like 10 hours in this game. Starvaders is a very good deck building roguelike with unique mechanics, and it goes right there. Yeah, it's better than Slay the Spire. It's better than Roguebook. It's better than all these. Then my card is better than your card. It has a very fun mechanic to it where it's Space Invaders plus Slay the Spire. But you know how Slay the Spire has three characters that work very differently from each other. Starvaders also has three mechs that work very differently from each other that have completely different systems. So it's even less like Slay the Spire, even less similar than Slay the Spire. However, each one of those mechs has one of four different pilots that gives you unique starting decks and a unique relic that plays into a different aspect of what that mech does. And this is phenomenal. It's not quite as fun as Monster Train or Monster Train 2, but it is great. I mean, it's also not as good as One Step from Eden, but that's because One Step from Eden is like lightning in a bottle. Um, and Starvaders, my main concern is the difficulty of Starvaders because it goes from 0 to 100 back down to 0 really quickly. And I think that just has to do with the mechanics of the game. How you win, and then suddenly you're losing, and then as soon as you get past it, you win. And there's like every run has one or two difficult sections, and that have the likelihood of just killing you right then and there, and that makes an interesting experience. But it's what's making it this low, I think. It's pretty fun. And then lastly, Merge Maestro. I also have like an extra hour on this game than what's being shown here. Because I prepped this tier list like a few days ago. Because I wanted to make it. Merge Maestro is a pretty easy and pathetic roguelike. I have beaten the first four, or was it five difficulty options. Basically, I beat Ascension 4 or 5 or whatever. Um, it just wasn't difficult, man. Like it just wasn't. Um, Game has unique mechanics and it has fun gameplay, but it's a turn your brain off roguelike. And comparing it to turn your brain off roguelikes like Vampire Survivors, Hollow Cure, not Hollow Cure is not turn your brain off. Like Vampire Survivors, um, Just King, Neon Garden, um, the Super Tax City is kind of a turn your brain off game. It's better. Like it's better than some of them and worse than others. Um, it's a fairly middle of the road, turn your brain off type roguelike. And if you enjoy turn your brain off roguelikes, you'll enjoy it. But I don't really enjoy turn your brain off roguelikes. Okay, last clarifications on this tier list. These are my opinions of these games based on my playtime with them and everything like that. So, let's see. I will try and zoom out so we can get the full tier list in frame here. There we go. This is the tier list. The roguelike tier list. A definitive roguelike tier list. It even has this really nice bell curve where there are mostly middle games and then a few extraordinary games and some really terrible games. I'm like 100% genuine with this. Nothing here is rage baiting or anything like that. I got a lot of comments. I got some comments on the previous one talking about how I'm just doing this for the sake of like I have opinions here that aren't the default opinion, and that's because you guys suck at having opinions. Some of these games are not as hype as a lot of people make them seem, and some of these games are way better than what a lot of people say. So yeah, that's that. This has been Jackson Cobalt. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your day. And as always, stay awesome. Goodbye, guys.